And now, our feature presentation.
Hey guys, I'm Scarfy.
I'm Naka, with a different logo this time in the Discord stream kit.
I'm Krüz. Hello.
And welcome to Subwoofer Entertainment, a extremely drunk, geeky, and cheerful podcast where we'll be house and extremely entertaining, bringing you all latest entertainment news. So that's a lot like music appreciation class, talk about what's going on in certain topics and see how people react to them in certain ways. And it is the only show where we actually are welcomed during the Sunday afternoons, because who wants to do a show in the freaking Sunday afternoon, right? And talk about news. How is everyone doing today?
I'm a little on edge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of certain events that we will talk about in just a couple minutes. I don't know if within the next couple days, I'll get into it.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, S.E.T has been brought to you by Streamlabs. We are a non-profit profit podcast, but we use this as our go-to for making more episodes to help them be bigger and better than ever before by purchasing equipment or other visual means. Please don't feel obligated. We are not asking for money to pay the rent, but if you have the heart to donate, it is greatly appreciated.
Give us your money. No.
Yeah, no.
Don't. Probably invest in better ways to ask for money.
No, but
yes,
seriously, just by showing up either to the live streams, and if you can't show up to the live streams, watching the VODs, that's really what means a lot to us. The donations, they just kind of stockpile on top of that. They are very much appreciated, but just showing up one way or another, that's really what means the most to us.
So, I don't know about you, but today's news have been very, very interesting, and I mean that in a very, very wacky sense. Some good, some bad, and I guess it's a good time before we start the show that we talk about something very, very important. Last week we celebrated, pretty much the results of the, election. We pretty much did all that. We were very, very happy. And we've noticed, what we didn't know is that, some of us did, but we had really have not taken light to this. The amount of pandemic cases that have pretty much surfaced, that have spiked throughout this entire country. The highest I've ever seen was 180,000
locally
for yesterday.
Locally for us, we've gone back to phase one, or 25% capacity, and gatherings of no more than 10 people. Hopefully, it's hard for businesses to stay minimal and all that, but it's an unfortunate seeming necessity. It's hard to support restaurants in this time, especially that rely on dine-in for their revenue. But if you value places, try to support them in some way, because it's affecting a lot of people.
And I do want to bring something up that is very, very important to me. About, I want to say, less than 2 hours ago, I was given confirmation that one of my friends, I guess I should start off with a little story first. I was scheduled on a flight for the 24th through the 29th during the Thanksgiving weekend, which we would not be on the show. We would be pretty much gone during that entire week. I recently got confirmation not 2 hours ago that one of my friend's father has tested positive, and he was exposed. He has since, I believe he is being tested as we speak. He has not shown signs of any symptoms. However, because we are taking this very, very seriously, we had to cancel the flight. So I will not be going to Chicago anytime soon. To be honest, I feel as much as I am disappointed, I'm not as much as disappointed as I am secretly relieved, because the last thing I want is, as much as it is sad, is to contract the virus myself. And, we're going to be keeping an eye on him during the time being. Also, one of my other friends who I loved very, very dearly, one of his beloved ones, got the virus. I believe he's doing better now. I believe that, they're all okay. But he had to spend a good 14 days off of work. He had to basically put himself in isolation, regardless of whether or not he had symptoms or not. And he didn't. But, the question is, why take a chance? So I just want to let you know, I can't stress this enough. Please wash your hands. Please stay safe. Please wear a mask if you decide to go outside. Please do everything that you can to prevent this, because cases are going up. They've been very, very high ever since before, after, and before, during, and now after the election. They've been very, very high. Please be careful going outside, as always. And
it's unfortunate that we do have to open up with kind of shitty news, but that's kind of the way things have to go sometimes. Let's see, within the past week or so, a family friend of mine was feeling really sick, initially tested negative, and then tested positive for COVID-19 and is quarantining at home. It sounds like he got it from somebody at his workplace. I believe he works in an office job or some sort. And his girlfriend is a flight attendant, so they have been quarantining the past week at their parents' house, who I dog shit for from time to time. So that's going on. I helped him out on Monday with the dogs because the mother is a teacher, so busy with school at the time. So I went and walked the dogs after class. I already took precautions. I didn't even step in their house to get the dogs. I literally was like, they told me the leashes were on the front porch. I just opened up the door, got the dogs, and, took them to the park, whatever, got them to run around, do all that stuff, and basically just opened the door, put them back in the house, and, their leashes and stuff, and then didn't have to do anything. I had hand sanitizer in my car and all that stuff. I really take this seriously. And over the past couple of days, there have been more announcements from Governor Jay Inslee, who I'm not the biggest fan of, I gotta say, about how everything's going to be it's not full lockdown, but I'm anticipating within the next couple of days that he is going to announce a full lockdown. A lot of places are limited. They're imploring people to keep gatherings to like 6 people max. Everybody wears a mask indoors, and basically have Thanksgiving over virtually and Christmas virtually, and that's not going to be enough for some people. And with now today, and in the next couple of days, going to announce more like limitations, quarter capacity for grocery stores and things like that. I know a great used game store and used in like retro themed toy store in
a local
town.
Toy store for us recently went out of business,
and they're probably gonna have to close down again and lock down again with these restrictions, and they might not make it through this time. They somehow made it through the first lockdown in the state of Washington, but we don't know about the second one. And it's really tumultuous, and they're not going to get the support that, these big companies have. And I don't want to get too political about this, but I'm fucking tired of the bipartisan, one side hates the other in Congress and the House of Representatives. I'm tired of it, because multiple times there have been stimulus bills to help, people like us and people who own small businesses. They were stimulus bills and stimulus checks that were going to go out, but because they were proposed by one party and not the other party would do nothing or basically vote against it, meaning that the stimulus wouldn't go through, and then they'd blame the party who proposed it in the first place. And I'm fucking
rinse and repeat. And I think part of that is due to the fact that they try to, or like, this is a long time political tactic, but parties like sometimes will try to sneak something into a bill and accusing people of that in like the ambiguous language of like, oh, what this could mean. What they're trying to add a little something extra to get away with in the bill. That happens all the time, but it's more devastating now when it kind of just revives the old cycle.
Yeah, and by the way, all these giant corporations that were given tax breaks and things like that and stimulus bills who then furloughed and fired a lot of their employees, you're guilty of the same stuff that the House of Representatives and Congress is doing. You're guilty of that. There's blood on your hands because of your actions.
Don't you mean the Senate? But nonetheless.
And this is especially tumultuous for me because when the next announcement from Jay Ainsley comes out, I don't know whether it's going to be a lockdown announcement or not. And I go to school 5 days a week from 7 to 12:30. You know what we do? We take campus access forms every day. You know, they have questions like, are you feeling sick or anything like that? Like, do you have a fever or anything like that? And we all wear our masks. We all socially distance when we're in our kind of classroom setting. All our desks are like 8 feet apart. So, first of all, and no two people can sit at the same desk. So, I'm in an auto body shop, so we're working with big panels, and we require a lot of space to work on them. So, we're doing everything we can. And I don't know if there's a lockdown coming, and I miss out on a couple weeks of this first quarter, and I don't know if I'll be able to start second quarter. I'm frustrated because people are not taking this seriously. And
Yes.
And I
It did affect me in school too. I mean, as you said, I had to finish. I had to graduate virtually, and that was kind of a weird thing.
And part of why cases are going up is because more people are getting tested and more testing reports are coming out. That's part of it, but also people are being less and less careful. They're being more risk-taking and things like that, and that's why we're seeing numbers go up as well. It's a double-edged sword because the more you report, the bigger the numbers get. But
Yeah.
you don't know how many people are truly sick, or how many people are just asymptomatic. It's really, really messy. And because of the numbers going up one way or another, whether it's more reporting, it's more testing, and maybe it's just more people who are asymptomatic, everything's affected. And I don't want to see small businesses and mom and pop restaurants be shut down and go out of business because they were not able to have the financial stimulus that big businesses and big restaurants do. And
I agree.
Again, I care a lot about small business because it's a journeyman. It's kind of journeyman tactics. I know we shouldn't be talking about this stuff on this show, but it's very, very important that we go forward, that you stay safe. If you're out in public, social distance it whenever possible. Always wear a mask. I don't care if it's like a painter's mask, like if it's the N95 kind of painter's like wood carpenter mask, or if you're doing
Wear something.
Or the Andy Reid thing, where it's just the fog. It's completely fogged up.
Just wear
face coverings of that.
Yes.
I've seen too many images over the past couple weeks and couple months of people not wearing face coverings in public, and at political events especially. But I don't want to talk about that. And those events can be super spreaders.
Yeah. Jump spreaders, which could be taken out of context with the...
And I do want to touch on another thing before we get started into our full agenda. I know you wanted to cover this later, Scarfy, but if you stream on Twitch, please be extremely careful with what you're playing, because I have seen they have been issuing, the RAA has been issuing thousands and thousands and thousands of DMCA takedowns on people, and content creators have had to scramble for to delete 9-10 years of work on their Twitch channels. People like music, rhythm game streamers don't know if they're going to be able to stream or not. People have been flagged for cooking. I saw this. People have been flagged when they're not playing music on their stream. It's an IRL stream. They were using their blender to mix up some ingredients. They got flagged with a DMCA takedown for a Skrillex song.
I mean, that's just kind of the comments of people. It's like, oh, dubstep just sounds like whatever. And then they look at this, they're like, see, I told you.
People have been getting flagged for, even when they turn the music off, they've been getting flagged for sound effects and all that other stuff. I'm tired of the
It's very
DMCA
aggravating.
extorting people. The DMCA is very, very, very outdated. It harms creators more than it helps them. And the RIA and the government are not going to do anything about it. And Twitch is not going to do anything about it other than, hey, Twitch, you're owned by the richest man in the world, by one of the richest companies in the world, Amazon, who is owned by Jeff Bezos, arguably the richest man in the world. You guys can afford music licenses and protection for your content creators because they will be leaving en masse if you keep this shit up. All right, now we've gotten all this shit off the table. Let's go on with hopefully a better stream thing. And Krüz, get into this because I gotta pee. I've been talking
Krüz,
for so long about these subjects that it's made me have to go to the bathroom.
You really worked yourself up.
Yes.
No, but,
All right, go ahead.
yeah, we got some. Well, I just put this in just kind of because I wanted to, and it gives an opportunity to mention football. This is the Super Bowl halftime show announcement for Super Bowl 55. The Weeknd will be headlining it, and in yet another move, pandering to appease the fans of boring and uninspiring pop music the world over, or at least the U.S. The Weeknd has been named a headliner for Super Bowl 55's halftime show. However, and I imagine most football fans are also more concerned about how the season will proceed versus this news. Since the contingency plan would have a greatly expanded playoff structure, already more so than the 7 teams that will make it, increased from 6. Originally, it was each division's winners and then 2 wild cards. I think it's 3 wild cards now. So it's like either way, it's going to be a new system to work through to get to the Super Bowl. But I imagine the contingency plan method might be kind of messy, but it's kind of like, I mean, if only the NFL had the organizing acumen, I guess, of the NHL, because they organized the playoffs excellently, and also did it so that everyone was safe and that there were very strict bubble guidelines of like, this team will be here this time, then the rink will be sanitized, and then it's harder to do that with stadiums because of course, stadiums are a little bigger, and also most of them are just out in the open.
The NFL is they're being really risky.
They kind of dropped the ball on this a lot from just not. I don't know what it's going to be, but from the Tennessee Titans holding an unauthorized practice at a high school, I've heard that there will be punishment for that. They're fining teams for not wearing masks. The Steelers, the Saints have been fined.
Pete Carroll's been fined. The Seahawks have been fined.
Yeah,
I know that, but that was more in a moment of emotion.
And these are hefty fines. Like, I know Starfy's not going to like this, but for the Steelers, it was $250,000 for the team and $100,000 for Tomlin personally.
Yep,
that's a total of $350,000 fine. While that might be a drop in the bucket to some people, it's still
a drop in the bucket.
it's still like an eyebrow raiser amount. The
unfortunate thing about why couldn't the NFL do a bubble? It's 80 team members. 80 team members per team. That's all this. That's like the coaches. That's the staff. It's the backup players. That's the main players.
Also, I think that
you're not going to be able to schedule all those bubbles.
The NHL just had to do playoffs because it struck at that time. A regular season for the NHL and the bubbles would not have worked. There would be way too many people. They could have opened more bubbles, but I imagine that it would still be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. For football, it's a logistical nightmare. But anyway, quick thing about
go ahead.
COVID aside, quick thing about this subject matter. I don't understand. Like, I understand that the NFL is trying to appeal to more suburban audiences, which is why they have pissy pop groups. When, in my opinion, it's the most testosterone-fueled, intense game of the year. Why is the halftime show always some pissy pop group? get
were talking
Metallica
about
in there or something.
yeah, we
it
were
doesn't
talking
make any
about
sense.
it in a football group chat. Yeah, Metallica came up. AC/DC is another one. Like
I will have to say, to be fair, to be generally fair, I did see, the Lady Gaga halftime show, and that was very well done. This
That was a fun halftime show. I'm not a fan of her music, but it's a fun halftime show.
I respect the artists when they at least make their performance more entertaining than their music at the very least. Like, for example, I love Shakira and I love Jennifer Lopez's halftime show. Was a lot of fun.
I liked the meme.
So,
I didn't watch it because I used that time to go grab some beer. I liked it. I came back and the meme is just Shakira going with her tongue. I'm like, what is happening?
It's more so the fact that she's from Colombia and she is doing a language thing that is part of music. So that is the reason why she does that. As for The Weeknd, I have not listened to any of his music. I have nothing to say. I don't know exactly what kind of music he's into. It's
kind of like R&B masked as pop.
I want to say I've heard him on the radio, but at the same time, I really haven't. I have not heard him on the radio. I wonder if he's the guy who. Hold on.
The last thing was on our channel was the Starboy.
Oh, so this is the guy who sings Starboy. Great.
Yeah, that's that guy. It's that guy.
Great.
Yeah, I told you exactly. It's like it's exactly what you would expect. Not. They could have done worse. I think definitely. I mean, Katy Perry.
Hey, Katy Perry was awesome. Don't diss on Katy Perry. I'm sorry.
I like that. There's a great little picture of it's her on the video for Roar, and it's her on the tiger. It says "Hear me roar," and then below it is the singer from Amon Amarth, Johan Hegg, and who does very great growls. He's pointing back. He's like, "You call that a roar?"
Yeah. So I mean, The Weeknd.
It's just kind of like I'm as nonplussed as you are.
I like this is I dare say this is the most uninteresting person you can get. Like even more so than freaking what was last year's? I forgot. Freaking Maroon 5.
That was 2019's Super Bowl.
Oh, Maroon
2020 Super
That
Bowl.
was the one.
Idea.
Oh yeah, I remembered. Well, I don't remember.
2020 was Shakira and Jennifer Lopez.
The 2019 Super Bowl, I remember that everyone was so upset because they duped with SpongeBob. But for me, at the time, I was
on Steven Hellenberg.
I was in Budapest at a bar, and I was very drunk, and I could not remember exactly what happened at a halftime show, and I was almost glad for that because I knew that I saw on Twitter the next day people were super disappointed. I'm like, well, glad I don't remember it. So yeah, hopefully the game will be still good. I'm rooting for my hometown team. They're gonna play tonight. So yeah, that's football.
Before we move on, real quick, what would be everybody's ideal halftime show? Like, I'm putting this out there for you guys as well as the chat. Just put in like halftime show, whatever band or group. There are no wrong answers because it's all subjective, and I will respect everybody's opinions and ideals because that's what I like to do.
I think I would have like a realistic, and then an idealistic one. Realistic would probably be AC/DC or Metallica. Like the big arena rock metal bands that like they're used to playing like big stadiums. Idealistic. I mean, what to say?
Meshuggah.
Meshuggah would be. I think people would be very confused and scared and frightened. People would be very scared.
Yeah. Go ahead with your choice. Scarfy?
I was gonna say Eminem.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Volbeat actually.
Yeah, I mean, like Eminem would work really well at a halftime show. He's very popular.
He'd have to use the clean lyrics to some of his songs. for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
obviously,
that's another thing.
obviously, but that's not a problem considering that he was also at the Oscars and everyone was just you could see everyone was just mouthing the words and like you could tell they
Mom
were having
spaghetti.
a blast when he arrived. So
I hope
I-
that if they do
I
his
wouldn't-
stage set, there would be a giant bowl of spaghetti on there.
I wouldn't mind if it was Eminem, but that's personally my take.
But that would be your that would be the one that you would like to see. But what would be a realistic choice for you? I mean, it could
Ooh.
happen. It could happen, but like just knowing some of his songs and the amount of swear words in them.
Yeah. Oh, geez. You know what? It's so hard to tell because, like, I'm not even too sure because, like, there's so many pop songs and there's so many people. There is so much going on, and it's hard for me to choose which one I want to try. So, and I don't want to get shit for asking. Oh Lord. I know we're pressed for time, so I'm trying to think of one.
We're not really.
I was gonna say
The game.
Well,
I want to
so.
have my section done more or less the time the game starts because I'm going to be checking in, but I'm of course going to be here on the
You
stream.
got about like half
obviously.
an hour. We got time.
Yeah. Is rock and roll within? I think that I think I didn't not changing my answer, but the realistic one would probably be like AC/DC and or Metallica. The idealistic, probably as a thing, Korn and Slipknot. I think that would be really cool because they've toured together a bunch of times. But I would love to see them both do, and they do collab songs like A Different World. Corey Taylor was on that for Korn. And like maybe sharing a set at one point, like, I think it would be really cool.
Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
I like for my idealistic one, like the one that could be like a fever dream. I'm thinking Avenged Sevenfold because the halftime show only needs to be what, like 5 songs, 6 songs.
They range from 5 to sometimes to even 10. I mean, hell, freaking. I mean, I remember when Paul McCartney was part of the Paul McCartney was part of the halftime show. What's going on?
Dr. Hexdex, thank you for subscribing.
Hey.
The okayest GG crew, thank you.
Welcome to the GG crew. Anyway,
that's somebody else's kind of little esports casual group that I guess I'm technically a part of, known as RKD in the server, but I don't know. But
I guess you could say affiliated with in some way.
So for my,
Go ahead.
For my ideal one, it would be Avenged Sevenfold. They could do. I'm saying it's like 5 songs. They could do Backcountry, Chapter 4, Almost Easy, Hail to the King, Shepherd of Fire. Metallica, they could do, they've got Enter Sandman, they got For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, they got Fuel. There's only one swear, but they could change that easily in that song. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff Metallica could do.
I think Wherever I May Roam. I think Metallica, well, here's the thing. There was a concert that was streamed on TV, I think a few years ago, where Metallica was there, but they only played 3 songs. They played Enter Sandman, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Master of Puppets. So, I mean...
Oh, I think I know who to choose. I was thinking either Fleetwood Mac or Stevie Nicks. That was what I was looking
Those
to.
are pretty good choices, I'm not going to lie.
I think the last great halftime show I enjoyed was probably The Who. I really enjoyed that show.
Prince had a really good halftime show as well.
I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but yeah.
All right. Now,
anyway, we're spending a little too much time on crushes or fever dreams on what we want the celebrity halftime show to be.
I actually do think Metallica could be a realistic halftime show.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Especially if the 49ers were involved, but then again, that was last season and they already booked it, so you can't anticipate this beforehand. Speaking of B, I don't need to spend much time on this since, you already know who they are, probably. You at least heard of them.
I mean, we've heard of the stands, so
BTS,
there's so many K-pop stands.
Yeah, it's a horde it's like a digital horde It's weird as you see. Well, one of the things they've been doing is like trying to hijack toxic hashtags and everything and all that. But they that like when that happens, you see them just come out of the woodworks and they're just like everywhere, and you never like thought about it. But hopefully they understand Korean, because BTS is releasing this album B, which is in Korean as opposed to Japanese, which they apparently also write songs in. It's on November 20th is when it's released, as is
9 p.m. 9 p.m.
almost
Thursday, November 19th on the West Coast.
Yeah, they're if you want to stay up early, I think it's just Friday 0. Does that say 0 a.m.?
Yes.
Like that's 0 a.m. Do you mean midnight? Question mark. 2 p.m. Korean time. It looks like. So yeah. Figure that shit out for yourself, I guess.
I mean,
I couldn't be bothered to.
I'm gonna put it out there. For those who are tuning in for the first time, pop music's just not my thing. Just not really. The possible whiner.
Yeah,
whiner, chicken diner.
But
I'm a wiener. I mean, winner.
Pop music's just not really my kind of music. I have nothing against. I mean, K-pop stands take more than what you take with that what you will. I'm gonna keep my comments to myself because they could be taken the wrong way, and I don't want to do that.
Right.
But I will say BTS, they have broken a YouTube record with like the most views in 24 hours on one of their most recent music videos. So, hey, you know what? Good for them.
Oh yeah, I saw just found out Dr. Hex. I have a bunch of or at least not a bunch of at least I know more on online, but 2 of my personal friends are Sharks fans, and they understand. They know pain. As a Capitals fan, I can relate to that. In like, it was a long period of suffering before we finally broke through. And for the Sharks, I don't know, it might be a little longer, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope yet, but you have to, as a what was it, Steve Miller Band song lyric goes, you have to go through hell before you get to heaven.
Apparently,
big old jet airliner. Well. This is a long name. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. But the album title is short. Just KG. So this... Scarf, like beforehand, of course, I looked up what things. I saw BTS Dark Tranquility. This one was one Scarf you sent me that I hadn't looked at. This Australian psychedelic rock band. This is their 16th album, which is quite a milestone. I mean, I think some other that's a pretty long career, I guess. I mean, unless you're just cranking out albums every year. I don't know much about his release schedule, but I looked at it and I'm like, well, it's definitely weird and kind of trippy, mostly acoustic, interestingly. I didn't like Some of Us, the song, but I liked Automation and Honey. Sometimes I know that this part of it kind of sounded like he was playing the guitar like it was out of tune, but
I think it was
that's
psychedelic
rock.
Yeah, psychedelic rock also involves like sitars, guitars, and all that other
there's
stuff.
A bunch of stuff going on.
So the music you hear in Big the Cat sections of Sonic Adventure.
Froggy!
Yeah.
Oh my God! That's a mood.
Yeah.
Game Grumps recently did the watching their Freakouts compilation. Nonagon Infinity. Nonagon was a word coming up because I was watching Jacksepticeye play the new Spider-Man game, which looks absolutely beautiful, by the way. But yeah, this album is coming out November 20th. The 4 songs available are Honey, Some of Us, Straws in the Wind, and Automation. Apparently a smaller person produced the music video, or I saw that the channel only had like a few hundred subscribers. So I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Good on them. It's kind of like what the Ninja Sex Party did with Apartment D. They just had a small studio just produce an excellent music video.
But Automation is developed by a New Zealand company.
So King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. I'm just gonna say
Wizard, but close enough.
Mapachahit, Mahapachit. Okay.
Machahapit. I even from that, I still don't know how to say it correctly.
Yeah. So So believe it or not, I was actually introduced to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard to my good friends at the Anthraholics, JT and Adrian. Giving a shout out. Both of you are awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. They are. I heard that they're really good bands. And what's so cool about them is that all of their shows are different. They never play a song that is literally the same song. All of their songs are different that they play. So.
I mean, really, with their from album to album, or like set lists? Set lists are always random. They never play the same thing over. That's and interesting, and that's also you gotta think that's hard to do because most what bands tend to do is that they quote relearn songs. Of course, they already wrote the songs; they already know it, but they practice those songs and they generally prepare for a certain base set list. But if you're preparing a bunch of different songs to play, that's harder to do, and that's, I guess, props to them for that.
Apparently so. But yeah, not much to say regarding King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Really, it's I hope people enjoy it. I can see that Dr. Hex is a huge fan of it, so
yeah, we got one fan in chat with us.
I did like the musical instrumentation. Psychedelic rock is always a plus because I love Pink Floyd. I fucking adore Pink Floyd.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
If they ever had a halftime show, definitely get them. I think they would put on an interesting one, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we already had that discussion, but a man can dream.
Of course. That's all I have to say regarding King Gizzard. Naka?
I mean, psychedelic rock is definitely one of those genres I need to listen to more. Because the only psychedelic rock song that I have in my Spotify playlist is Wolf Like Me by TV on the Radio, which is a psychedelic rock band. And also the cover by Local H, but that's another story for another day. But, again, I need to give psychedelic rock more of a chance, and I don't know why I haven't. But, I mean, I guess it's not dark and tranquil, like our next band.
Very dark.
Oh boy.
Get tranquil. Take a moment to listen to Swedish melodic death metal, yeah! This is a slumber party. Yeah! If you haven't seen As-Diff movie 13, it came out somewhat recently.
I have 2 weeks ago, but go on.
Yeah, I like that. My favorite bit was the
I'm gonna pee again. Damn it. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. I'll probably go and grab something before the football game starts. But the best bit was like this kid bouncing a ball on his knee, and the dad's like, huh, "That's my boy," and then he kicks the ball away, and he's like, "No, my boy!" And the guy's like, the head's just flying off in distance. He's like, "Father, help!" I love that. Yeah. So Dark Tranquility release moment on November 20th, and so far, I've linked this song "Identical to None" because it Yeah, Identical to None's been linked. That was the song I liked the best. There's also Phantom Days and The Dark Unknown. The Dark Unknown is the one that has a music video. It was a little bit of a slower song, but it's still good. For me, melodic death metal, or simply called melodeath, is a genre I definitely enjoy a lot. I mean, listen a lot to. Most of what I listen to from it is, of course, arguably one of its figureheads, Amon Amarth. Also, a little bit of Arch Enemy and Children of Bodom are also melodic death metal. I got into Children of Bodom off their last album, Hexed, but also got some other songs. Mostly they're covers of Slayer and Iron Maiden. It's very cool stuff because it's when I think of melodic death metal, I generally think of Amon Amarth, but there's different ways to approach it. Like Children of Bodom has more like a a synthesizer element to it, and a arch enemy is one of the big figureheads of it, and they have a style of their own. So, but it's generally meant that they're melodic riffs to death metal. It's kind of simple, melodic death metal. It's in what it is in the name.
So what you're saying is that Children of Bodom is the Rush of melodic death metal.
I don't know if I'm bold enough to say that. I don't know enough to say that, but I guess that is a thing that could be said. But about this, it's a genre I've been looking to get into more, and this looks like a perfect opportunity to do just that.
Oh yeah,
this is a band I've known about for a little bit, and I've been meaning to listen to. I see them pop up every now and then, but I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, let's dive in. So I'll check them out more when the album comes out.
Yeah, so will I. It's, again, I'm trying to branch out my genres of rock and metal and listen to more bands. Even though I keep going back to the same ones. And then also listen.
There's no problem with having like a favorite to stick to. I feel like I have a lot of that where I'm just like, I will get all the songs that one band has, but like get two from another. But yeah, there's I don't know, branching out and just finding new things. It's nice, and there's new ways to do the same thing that you like, which is expanding within a genre. Yeah, there's something for everyone.
As long as the genre doesn't die and you love it, it's perfectly preserved.
Yeah,
I'm on point with these transitions today.
It is.
You are very on point with these trends.
It's perfectly preserved, unlike Unis Honest.
Memento Mori.
Yes, Memento Mori. If you were there for that stream, shout out to you. I stayed up to 3 a.m. It was totally worth it.
By the way, you guys
until noon the next day.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but you guys heard what I said, right?
No.
Oh well, no. I guess I need to turn my phone off next time. I actually got a phone call during the show, but you guys can't hear it because it's just on my end because I'm using Bluetooth headphones. I apologize. Anyway, now that that's taken care of, Love and Death, perfectly preserved.
Yes. All right. An announcement from Brian Head Welch of Korn and Jasen Rauch of Breaking.
God damn it.
Yeah. Oh. Rauch of the German pronunciation, if that's what we're going by. Either it's Rauch or Rauch. This Rauch means smoke in German. Breaking. Yeah. So Brian Korn and Jasen from Breaking Benjamin. I found it on Loudwire, and I'm like, ooh, what's this? So this is a supergroup that they formed, and it has been revived for a second album, which is called Perfectly Preserved. I listened to it, anticipating, I could see Korn and Breaking Benjamin influence from it. Absolutely. It is Down is the song that's currently available and linked, and it sounds like a perfect mix of the two band sounds. I've seen Korn live once and Breaking Benjamin with Five Finger Death Punch. So Breaking Benjamin isn't a band that I'm as much into. I'm into more like, I guess, heavier stuff than that, but I do appreciate their style because I feel like they were a good touring partner for Death Punch, for if nothing else. And they do sound really good live. I can say that. But yeah, this sounds like a perfect mix of their styles with like more clean vocals. And yes, Brian is the one singing and doing guitar. Jasen is the bass player. I don't know the other members' names, but this so far I've listened to Down. It sounds really good. And the album is set for release on February 12th, 2021. So mark your calendars for that. And we will keep you posted on any news that comes in the meantime.
All right.
Well, not much for me to say on this one. I do like the album, though. It's literally what the album says it is. The music, I enjoyed what I heard. I'm not too sure if I'd pick this one up. And yeah, that's really all I have to say regarding this one.
Yeah, it's another thing was that there's an insistence. It's not a quote side project. Of course, a lot of musicians do have it. Tommy Johansson from Sabaton has his own band, Majestica. But this is a project that they had made years ago, like in 2011, 2012, and they've basically their reasoning for it said like, well, because of the they didn't say Backstreet Boys Reunion Tour, but because of this, we've had you have a lot of time on your hands, and so we just got together and made some music, and we're ready for a new album. So good on them, and I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of it.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're gonna keep the hot streak going. The hot wheels.
Sure, that's not what I'm talking about next, because we're transitioning into me. Before we get into the next segment, I do have a couple of quick notes. Within the past week, I received an email from Google saying, hey, do you want a free Stadia? You've been subscribed to YouTube Premium for a while. We need to get rid of our Google Stadias. They didn't say that, but so, hey, here's a free code for a Stadia. Use it in the store. Like, register for the Stadia service. Didn't have to register for Stadia Pro, but register for the Stadia service. Once you're verified registered, we'll send you a promo code for a Stadia kit, and I got a Stadia coming in the mail within the next week and a half, so there's that. And once I get into that, and I'll talk about my thoughts and stuff about the Google Stadia in the coming future. But I have played a lot of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, and these images are kind of like lower scale because of the way that we have to fit them on the screen. But this is first of all, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010 was a gorgeous game 10 years ago, and they've cleaned it up to a point where, yeah, it's little bits and pieces, but those little bits and pieces add up. And it's really a breath of fresh air, even though the game's, again, 10 years old, and I did miss out on the multiplayer specifically when the game was new. It actually challenges the players in later events. It's not unfair, but it's actual difficult. There's actual difficulty progression, and I like that. It's something that a lot of games don't do anymore. The crossplay works great between different consoles, with little to no latency between other players. Let's see, I was in a live stream the other day, and the host was playing on the Switch version, which had released. This was on Friday. And I was playing on PC with a couple of my friends, and then there was people from PlayStation and Xbox who showed up. And there's, like, the only reason why there would be lag is your actual internet connection. The multiplayer is seamless. And the Switch version is, admittedly it is scaled down graphically. It still looks great for what it is, and I'm impressed by what Criterion Games and Stellar Entertainment, who also did work on the Burnout Paradise remaster a couple years ago, have done with those games. And I just want to say that the Switch version did come out on the 13th of November. It is $40 compared to the $30 price on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. But it's a similar situation with Burnout Paradise Remastered on the Switch. It's $10 more than the other versions. And I wish that the Switch version of Burnout Paradise Remastered would go on sale, because it's not a $50 game, unfortunately. It's more like, honestly, it's a $20 title now. I would not pay $50 for a 12-year-old game that has been re-released officially. But that's just me.
Of course.
However, let's move on to some actual news in terms of video games.
Time to get serious!
We move on to me with video games with the Serious Sam collection. It's a collection of Serious Sam HD, Serious Sam 2 HD, and Serious Sam 3 BFE, and its expansions releasing for the Switch, PS4, and Xbox One on the 17th of November for $29.99. At least that's what's the price will be on the Switch, according to the eShop. Serious Sam is a collection of games in an alternate reality where mercenary Sam Serious Stone fights Mental, an extraterrestrial overlord who attempts to destroy humanity at various points in time. It's a horde-based-ish FPS action game with wacky shenanigans about. Nothing market-breaking, but it's a fun time.
Apparently so. I noticed that the bomb, the bomb icon. I've seen that bomb icon many times before in other various like T-shirts, and I didn't know that was actually where it was from.
Yeah.
Not much for me to say on this one, I'm afraid. I just thought, oh, this is where the bomb icon comes from, so I guess it just seems wonderful just to keep it. So I just thought, oh well, Anyway, that's really all I have to say about Serious Sam. It's a shooter game. I hope people enjoy it, and I wish I could say more on it. It's just not something that I see a whole lot of people talk about, but
it's a little bit more niche, but it's wacky, it's fun.
Oh yeah, apparently one of those.
Yeah, I would say. I was looking at a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Oh shit!
Whose phone was that?
Mine. I didn't realize I turned it off. Oh god.
You were saying?
Oh fuck! I forgot to watch the trailer for this, but I do appreciate that you have when it's a full collection of this, and even just from the cover, I think you can get this holding a massive minigun. I already dig it.
Do we have a link for this, Naka?
I did post it, but apparently the hyperlink is broken.
Oh, it is. Is it?
It broke in YouTube somehow. It works fine in the Word document. Now let's see.
Let me go ahead and post it just in case people are having a little bit of a problem. There we go.
Wow, it works for you. It didn't work for me. That sucks.
Well, I mean, at least I got it out, and that's all that matters. So, yeah, but not much else to say. Not much else to say regarding Serious Sam, but I am more interested in this particular game, and this game should interest you because we just talked about it. We just talked about this type of game not too long ago in our earlier, and this is exactly why. In our, you know what I mean. In our earlier in the video.
With the Twitch DMCA bullshit.
Yes.
Also,
anyway.
a game that you forgot to bring to my attention last week, along with Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I still need to do more investigating before I talk about that. I'm not going to install that. I'm not going to play that game anytime soon because it's 250 gigabytes on some platforms. It is.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Stupidly huge. But
anyway,
Kingdom of Hearts, Melody of Memory.
No, it's not Kingdom of Hearts. It's Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom of Hearts, Melody of Memory. It's.
You don't say of.
Shut up. A Kingdom Hearts-based rhythm game along the lines of Crypt of the Necrodancer and Cadence of Hyrule. You've got me somewhat intrigued. Jackass #1 over there, known as Scarfy, forgot to bring it to my attention last week, so we missed it. Sorry.
I didn't know it was coming out. We had a lot of games coming out. I honestly, this one just slipped under the radar. I had no idea that we had
Black Ops Cold War was a re-release.
Dude, there's so many Call of Duty Black Ops games. Give me a break. Continue.
But Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory is a rhythm action game featuring both single and multiplayer gameplay. Players press buttons with the right timing to get an excellent, good, or miss depending on the timing. A miss affects the player's health, which causes the game to end when it has run out. Pretty simple. Players work to level up the character's health and attack power, with each character having 2 types of ranged and melee attack abilities. The main single-player mode is World Tour, which is the quote-unquote story campaign of the game. Each song is categorized into a stage, either field battle, world exploration tracks, where players complete songs rhythmically in each world, and face appropriate enemies in each stage from the original games in which the song is based on. There's Memory Dive, tracks associated with a specific character or use vocals, where players replay stages from past games in music video-like sequences with gameplay similar to field battles, and boss battle tracks. Self-explanatory there as well. Where players face bosses from the series. After the songs have been completed, they can be replayed individually. Melody Memory, Kingdom of Hearts Melody Memory. I'm doing that to annoy Scarfy. It's Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. Features 3-person parties, of which there are 4 different groupings. Once new parties have been unlocked, they can be used at any time. I'm fucking around. Shit happens. Once a new party has been unlocked, they can be used at any time. Dibney and Pixar characters serve as guest members in their specific themed worlds.
Dibney and Pooter.
bringing different sounds and symbols to the gameplay. King Mickey serves as a fourth party member, assisting the player with healing and additional rhythm points when activating the King's Call item. Traversal between each of the worlds is done through the Gummy Ship, or is it Gimme Ship?
It's Gummy Ship.
All right, I wanted to clarify that because I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts other than Dibney World. It's a system used in previous mainline games. Melody of Memory features the series beginner, standard, and proud difficulties, while each stage has 3 play options available. Basic, one button, which removes button complexity and allows party members to auto attack, and Performer, which adds additional enemies and button sequences. Kind of reminds me of some of the rhythm minigames from Fusion Frenzy. The first one, not the bullshit garbage second one. Each stage features various objectives to complete that award material to unlock new songs and items. Clearing stages unlocks a music and cinematic scene player. Multiplayer modes include double play co-op, where players compete locally together playing as Sora and Riku to get the highest collective score. Convert, computer versus, or comp versus, where players compete against the computer to get a high rank 3 times out of 5. In versus mode, where players compete against each other in either online or local multiplayer, Nintendo Switch only, for the best score in a best 2 out of 3. This mode features tricks, which are used to disrupt the other player, kind of like throwing garbage in like Tetris and Tetris Attack games, and also kind of like disruption in the Guitar Hero
That's
battle
what I was
stages.
thinking of. Like the broken string. The
Yeah. There are 10 different types of tricks, with co-director Masanobu Suzui, excuse me. I'm so sorry I butchered that name. I said
Don't worry about
Suzuki,
it.
not Suzui. It's my bad. Saying that they make completing the songs more tricky and more complicated, given how players can combine the tricks. Winning in versus increases a player's ranking and awards 2 collectible cards, while the runner-up receives 1. The Nintendo Switch version of the game features a free-for-all Battle Royale mode, which is not a huge fan of console-exclusive game modes. Fuck you, Call of Duty. And Activision for locking shit for a year behind PlayStation exclusivity. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of skeptical about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold Wars, because Activision's... Oh my god, I hate Activision right now. But that's another story for another time. The Battle Royale mode, where up to 8 players can compete against each other, online and local multiplayer. The gameplay of Melody of Memory has been compared to the Theta Rhythm, Final Fantasy. Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch this previous Friday, November 13th.
Okay, so I have one thing I want to say about Kingdom Hearts. I love the soundtracks. The soundtracks are always good. It's done by the wonderful composer Yoko Shimomura, and I always wanted her to compose my life. If you ever got a chance to play a Kingdom Hearts game, you are going to just love the music that she incorporates into her video games. She takes a lot. I don't know what it is, but she knows how to write an original track just like that. And then it becomes one of the most memorable tracks in a video game, and Kingdom Hearts, it's no exception. So here's my beef with this particular game at the time before it released. At first, I only thought that Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory was going to be released on Nintendo Switch because I saw it on the Nintendo Switch partner showcase video live stream. I thought that it wasn't going to be coming to PS4 or Xbox One, so I was actually kind of surprised. Mom, I was actually kind of surprised. One of the biggest... I'm just kind of surprised that, Nintendo can put this on the game, but they can't put any of the, they can't put any of the other Kingdom Hearts games on Nintendo Switch, and yet, it seems like, we have it on Sony, we have it...
There's probably some licensing bullshit.
Can I really say that though? Because they released it on Sony first, and now the entire collection is coming to Xbox One. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And considering the fact that Nintendo and Square Enix are very best friends, like they like a lot of their games comes on have come on the portable Nintendo consoles, like the Nintendo DS, the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo 3DS, which released Kingdom Hearts games. So I'm actually kind of surprised. I would say it's licensing issues, but at the same time, that can only go so far, especially since, you know, we now have both consoles, both PS4 and Xbox One currently. I don't know if they'll ever release it for the PS5, but even still, I think they'll be backwards compatible nonetheless. They're on those consoles, so why not the Nintendo Switch? It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, maybe it's graphical problems, maybe it's something to do with the architecture, maybe it's something to do with the storage space. I don't know. Personally, for me, I think they have the odds. I think they could do it if they really tried, but I don't know too much about storage space. I don't know how much, you know, stuff they have to do in order to make it work. So we'll see what happens.
They can
That's
only
really
compress the game so much and change the graphics and scale them down so much before it starts to go apeshit.
The game starts to become upset.
You say that, and yet we pushed the system to its limit with Breath of the Wild, and that's a huge game. But
yeah,
you know.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2010 is like 35 gigabytes on all of the platforms. On the eShop, it's only 7 gigabytes.
That's because it's Nintendo.
They had to make the game 80% smaller to fit on the Nintendo Switch. Think about that.
I mean, it really all depends. I mean, it's just one of those things that I take notice, you know, because Square Enix had the Kingdom Hearts franchise for a while. Square Enix had a really, I don't want to say difficult time, but they got really picky and choosy on which system to release it. You would think that after Kingdom Hearts 1, they would release on the PS2, surely they would release the next game on the PS2 as well. But no, Rechain of Memories was released on the Game Boy Advance, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 was released on the PS2 again. So you know, it's one of those things.
It's messy.
Yeah, it's a messy procedure. But anyway, Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. The music is great. I love the music. If anything, I'm just a little upset that, you know, you can't play this music on Twitch just because you're playing the game, which makes fucking no sense. But which is why I'm probably going to be streaming on YouTube, since YouTube is a bit more lax. But
I'm not playing Kingdom Hearts, Mom.
Mom said it's my turn at the game.
Krüz, do you have anything to say before I move on?
I know my sister was into the Kingdom Hearts franchise much more than I was, but I think that just having this little music side game, I guess you'd call it, is a cool touch. Especially if, like, as Scarfy said, like, the music was impactful and really special. I think it'll still get definitely will give something for the fans to I don't know, something for them to enjoy. I was going to think of a different word, but enjoy seemed good enough for me. I'm a little more interested in the one after this.
Would you like to know more about the story of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Well, now you can, by buying another game. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Buy another game.
Legend of Zelda's second Dynasty Warriors game is finally here. Like the previous Hyrule Warriors game, Age of Calamity mixes the hack-and-slash gameplay of Koei Tecmo's Dynasty Warriors series of video games with settings, characters, and other elements from the Zelda series. The basic gameplay is participating in large-scale battles against enemies while also completing objectives and taking strategic actions such as capturing bases and commanding troops, in addition to retaining the combat, material crafting, and weapon upgrade systems from the first game. The game incorporates environmental puzzle solving and the use of a Sheikah Slate tool.
Yeah, the Sheikah Slate.
The Sheikah Slate. Thank you. I haven't played Breath of the Wild yet, though I don't care about spoilers.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I see Hot Fish Boy in the background.
Hot Fish Boy.
Because apparently
it's Fish Man.
I forgot what his name was, but that's not that's a different Fish Boy. Sorry.
Damn it.
I know. I just wanted to make the gag because I can.
Oh, and
that's
also
actually Mifa from, you know, that's Mifa. That's her.
Oh, that's Hot Fish Lady, not Hot Fish Man.
Yeah. Hot Fish Man is in Breath of the Wild.
Sorry, Dad, that's a very weird
lady.
Go ahead.
And also the glider from Breath of the Wild. Players can upgrade their characters, complete missions and challenges, use resources to access new areas, build weapons, and cook foods that can be used as buffs. Weapons in this game are invulnerable and won't break over time, unlike in Breath of the Wild. The game's map is similar to the one for Breath of the Wild. Players can choose stages and use the Sheikah Tower to explore between regions. Confirmed playable characters include Link, Princess Zelda, the 4 champions, Daruk, Mipha, Rivali, and Urbosa, and the Sheikah warrior Impa. Besides the characters, players are also able to control the gigantic divine beast to destroy large numbers of enemies. The game will also feature compatibility with Nintendo's Amiibo figures, with figures of the 4 champions re-releasing alongside the game. Again, this will tell more about the events that led up to Breath of the Wild than Breath of the Wild explained to players, with that being the Great Calamity, in which Calamity Ganon and his armies fought the armies of Hyrule that ultimately led to Hyrule falling. This is a November 20th release for the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so Krüz, do you want to team up on this one? So me and Krüz have played Breath of the Wild, and we finished the game. You need to play Breath of the Wild.
Cam Newton got sacked. Fuck yeah.
But seriously though, Krüz, Naka needs to play Breath of the Wild, doesn't he?
Give me your money.
It's a worthwhile experience, I will say, because it's a big. The map is huge. First of all,
yeah.
I didn't pay. Well, I didn't. I'll say this: I've forgotten what the first Hyrule Warriors thing really was, but I know it was not like a full canon. Breath of the Wild kind of like story game, but this one looks more to speak to more of a prequel. I guess in lieu of, well, not in lieu of, but for the time being, before the projected sequel to this comes out. It did catch my interest. I do like the idea that instead of just channeling the divine powers, I don't know what they're called, like from each of the champions in the game, I think it would be so cool to play as them. I would love to do that.
What I find so interesting about this Hyrule Warriors game is the fact that Breath of the Wild is such a huge, spacious game. I mean, it's very spacious. I literally played the entire game from back to back, and I got pretty much every heart container and pretty much every stamina wheel. So the fact that they're making a game based off of Breath of the Wild when Breath of the Wild is a big game, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot more linear compared to the ginormous monstrosity that Breath of the Wild is in terms of storage space and data. But if you have the chance if you really like hack and slash games, a lot of people really like Hyrule Warriors. I have not played the original Hyrule Warriors, so I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly what exactly it's all about or how it goes. But hey, a lot of people really liked it, and it first originally released on the Wii U, and then we had a updated port which was actually released on the Nintendo 3DS before it got a worldwide release in March 2016. So so I hope Age of Calamity is good, because I believe the original game also got a Switch port, so I would say that people are going to enjoy this game. People like Zelda. People like playing Zelda. So
this is like the classic recipe. People like grapes.
People like grapes.
Dogs don't.
Well, one of those things. But Naka, would you play Breath of the Wild if you ever got the chance to?
If somebody bought it for me or gave it to me, it's not one that it's not one that I'm actively looking out to play. I'm sorry.
But you always
elsewhere.
But you always play the car games.
It's almost
games.
like they're my favorite things and my favorite.
Because I like them.
All right. No, but seriously, if you ever do get the chance to play it, just because you want to see what it's about, please do so. It's a very good game. Anyway, that's all I have to say regarding Hyrule Warriors.
Oh, hey, we also missed another game last week. That would be Fuser, this is the new rhythm game from Harmonix, who did the Rock Band games.
Mm-hmm. We missed this game?
Yeah, because I didn't even know it was coming out.
Why are we missing games? I don't get it.
Hey, you're the one who gives me this information, okay?
Okay, so first, okay,
Yeah.
so
Some
if I'm being
things
honest,
fall through
I did
the
not know.
cracks.
Okay, so if I'm being honest, I didn't know that Fuser was an actual game that people cared about. Okay,
Hey, it's,
I mean, I don't.
dude, people eat rhythm games up.
Yeah, I just saw early. Speaking of that, earlier today, I don't know, actually yesterday, I saw someone did Kyle's mom's a bitch on Beat Saber. Cause once she's a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's a bitch, she's a bitch, she's the biggest bitch. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
god, this is so funny.
But yeah, Hyrule Warriors. Not much else to say except I'm happy. Happy it's getting released. We still have some more video games coming out, don't we, Naka?
Yes, we have some miniature announcements.
Yes.
We have... I'm not going to post these in chat, or should I?
don't know.
Just the ones in bold.
Fine.
That's really about it.
So... Katamari Damacy Reroll. November 20th release of Katamari Damacy Reroll for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, with it previously being released for PC and Nintendo Switch in December of 2018. These will get they'll be supported on PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series line of consoles. Speaking of those consoles, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, an updated, upscaled, and full DLC and all DLC included release of Mortal Kombat 11 is coming to PlayStation 5 and Series X/Series S is coming out on November 17th. And for the final quick update / release, the next gen enhancements, I mean, they're pretty much done, but there's going to be more in the future. For Halo, the Master Chief Collection, higher resolution, 120 frames per second, are complete for Halo Master Chief Collection, and Halo 4 is going to be released for PC, meaning that Halo Master Chief Collection will be complete on PC. Well, what comes in this update besides Halo 4 on PC and next-gen updates, and then I'm not sure if crossplay is going to come out yet, but that's something that 343 is working on. But I'll figure it out when the update launches alongside the Series X and S release on November 17th.
You really like Halo, don't you?
I mean, it's literally my favorite first-person shooter franchise.
Yeah. I've only played it once, but I love watching. As
featuring Gordon Ramsay.
yeah, the Master Chef. As much as it's, I'm not going to get into it, but as it's less possible to look back at good times, the Achievement Hunters Lasso series has been one I've always loved watching, because it's like, it's like going to be like a 1 or 2 hour video, plop down, get a drink, and settle in, because it's like they're not till they finish it. So yeah, I just love like the atmosphere of Halo. I haven't gotten into the games, and I know it's a shooter. I know that. I played it on PC once, but
I mean,
it does have a great aesthetic to it, and I like I guess I like seeing if people are playing the games. I saw this very cool animation of someone who managed to make it like the guy was reloading a sniper rifle, but he reloads it too hard, so he jams the clip in, but it breaks the gun, and it just falls apart. He's just like, what? Yeah, Master Chief Collection. It's been one of the things featured by Xbox on their release page. So yeah, I definitely know that it's a big deal to them as well.
I will have to say, whenever I heard one of my brothers opening up Halo 2, and you hear the opening title from Microsoft, and then you see the Bungie logo. Yes,
Specifically the Mjolnir mix of the Halo theme. And then in Halo 2 Anniversary adds the Gungnir and Scorpion mix of the Halo theme.
Oh, and it's glorious. I just love the music in Halo. Halo, the
music is very cool.
The music is so badass, especially with the guitar, the metal.
Yeah,
rocking guitar.
there's. I think it was on. I don't know what game it was. I think it might be 3 or 4. The highway mission.
Mm-hmm.
They did Lasso, which I keep saying this, but for those who don't know, it means legendary all skulls on, which means legendary difficulty. Skulls are like different challenges, like You have less ammo. You can't see your gun, which is a big part of it. You have
Every
no
time-
reticle.
Every time
Which
you
is
headshot
why-
a grunt, it's Grunt birthday party. There's also I Would Have Been Your Daddy or IWHYBD. Or yes, IWH.
There's also what they did.
IWHYBD, which enables the hidden and funnier dialogue for everybody.
I think one of the at one point one of the grunts or something just yelled "fuck you." Also,
He killed Flip Yap, or
they
Flip
they
was
put
he?
they tape a little
it
reticle
was
to their
Flip Yap.
screen is how they get past it.
Yeah, no, there's a series of lines from Halo 3 after you kill a grunt and a grunt responds, "He killed Flip Yap," or Yap Flip. Was he? No, it was definitely Yip Flap. It was definitely Yip Flap. Don't tell me how to know Flip Yap. Flip Yap and I went to Nipple Academy together.
Ipecac.
So
Anyway, that is it for video games this week. I'll have a lot to talk about next week, which we will get into at the end of the show. But Scarfy, moving on with the big sale for movies.
yes, we do. So believe it or not, I got a little occupied over last week and wasn't able to put this in last show because there was basically so much going on with the election, and we were just, emotions were high, everything was just kind of crazy, and we were just kind of wondering, okay, I actually kind of want to relax, I don't want to add this in, and my agenda's already high enough. So but now I do have the time. So the Criterion Collection is having their biannual 50% off holiday sale at Barnes & Noble bookstores nationwide. Criterion is an American home video distribution company which focuses on licensing important classic and contemporary films and selling them to film aficionados such as myself. Here is the entire list on the Criterion website, but please keep in mind that the sale is on Barnes & Noble, so you don't get confused. Criterion, it's been a while since I last talked about them, but my collection has grown tenfold ever since. I recently purchased some for my collection, all of which are Some Like It Hot by Billy Wilder, A Matter of Life and Death by Emmerich Pressburger, Tootsie by Sidney Pollack, Grey Gardens by Ellen Hovde, and the Best Picture winner of 2019, and personally one of my all-time favorite films, Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. 4 of those films, I should mention, are blind buys. I have not seen them before. If you're looking for a film that I think you should all start with, try The 39 Steps by the Alfred Hitchcock, or Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson.
Yes, by the Alfred Hitchcock. Yeah.
Or maybe Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick, or Blue Velvet by David Lynch. There goes my nerd showing again. All right. Just a reminder that the sale lasts until November 30th, and if you plan on buying online in order to bypass shipping, you have to essentially spend $35 at least online, or you can simply go to a Barnes & Noble bookstore, wearing a mask, of course, and buying the film that you requested. And if it's not there, you can just ask the clerk to order it for you and have it be shipped to your house, no charge for shipping. Criterion is a fantastic movie distribution company, and I've become quite the collector myself, owning a grand total of 50 plus Criterion Blu-ray films. Criterion films cost a lot of money at retail, so I wouldn't dawdle on this if you have the time. If you need help and are interested, just let me know. Each Criterion film comes with the movie, with the picture refreshed and recolored in a way how the director imagined how the film should be, with interviews, supplements, deleted scenes not otherwise seen on a regular Blu-ray or DVD, a booklet complete with essays about the film and film production, and some even have other goodies inside it depending on which one you buy. Each film is literally lessons in film school, or lessoning in film school, rather. The second you open a case, if you like a certain film so much, Criterion is the best you're going to do, at least when it comes to the US, so please do not waste this opportunity. Do you go on Twitter? I don't know what that even means. Okay.
I don't know who that's directed to, but I mean,
we talked about it
to.
earlier. I do. I watch streams. I don't stream because I like listening to music while I stream, and I can't do that anymore.
But guys, Criterion, I've talked about Criterion before on this channel. It's you guys can't stress enough. It is a great distribution company. They make really good stuff. Good stuff.
I saw on the, I think it was one. I don't know if I went to the link. I went to something and it said like film school in a box or something. I'm like, yeah, well, that is why Scarfy loves it so much. But yeah, it's if you know someone who is a huge fan of a certain director or movie, this is a great holiday gift option, I think.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, if you know someone who likes a particular movie that Criterion has available, I think it's a great idea. I don't have any myself, but I feel like this might be a gift option for me if I want to get something for someone.
Or get something for yourself. I can point you in the right direction. Naka, we talked about Criterion before.
Yes, we have. I actually bought a Criterion Collection film for my dad last year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I bought him The Princess Bride.
And what did he think about the Criterion version?
We haven't actually watched it yet, so that's something that we're going to need to change.
I wholeheartedly agree, because even the menuing, just like, you will basically open it up and you'll basically see like a little booklet inside, and you can read the essays on, you can just learn more about it. But yeah, guys, usually Criterions are $30 to $40 a piece on regular retail, and
and these are this is a 50% sale, right? So these are like half price.
Yes, these tend to be $19.99 or $24.99 depending on which film you buy. So you really, 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 really should take this into consideration and maybe consider picking up 1 or 2 or 3 or 5. I don't know. whatever your time allows and your money allows. Anyway. But yeah, Criterion is a great place. I really hope that you watch The Princess Bride. Hopefully.
I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times.
You've seen the film, but you've never seen the Criterion version of it. So
we do not use face rig.
I know furries do it, and I just thought, that'd be cool to like make us look like we're all sitting at a table, and I know furries have it like not in lieu of a camera, but it uses a camera, but it just tracks your expression and everything. That would be a cool thing. Might look into that. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway.
This is the thing.
That's all I have to say about the Criterion Collection. I will also be advertising it next week, and next week we have a huge show, but we'll get into that later. Either way,
touchdown Ravens, Willie Snead.
Hey, enough with the football. Enough with the football talk. I know your team is playing, but we got a show to do here. All right. Anyway.
All right. With our last thing of the agenda.
Yeah.
Sound of Metal on Prime Video.
Sound of Metal. Not a lot of movies coming out this week, folks, but I think it's safe to say that this is one that struck a chord with us all. It's time to look at a movie that took us all by surprise by the moment we streamed it on our channel and got copyright hacked. But don't worry, the trailer is still up there on that video that we posted, and our reactions are thankfully up there as well. But I think it's only a matter of time before that gets taken down. Anyway, Sound of Metal is a 2019 American drama film directed and co-written by Darius Martyr and starring Riz Ahmed, Olivia Cook, Paul Raci, Lauren Ridloff, and Matthew Almeric. The film had its world premiere on the Platform Prize program at the 2019 Toronto International Film Festival on September 6, 2019. So about a year before this movie would ever see the light of day into normal audiences. Anyway, Ruben is a drummer and one half the duo Black Gammon, along with his singer girlfriend Lou. A former drug addict, he is sober for 4 years. Suddenly, he begins to lose his hearing. His sponsor makes him go meet Joe, who leads a deaf community. With the help from them, Ruben struggles to accept his situation. The premise literally took us all by surprise in terms of reaction by the trailer. The idea of a man who now has to adapt to his way of life is both incredible yet crazy at the same time. From the trailer, I get the sense that this is definitely going to be an intense watch for some, if not most, and I'm very curious to see how it's going to play out in the end. The film will be released theatrically on November 20th and streaming on Prime Video on December 4th. So what do you guys have to say regarding this film? Because damn.
I remember we talked about this when we initially saw the coming attractions video from a couple of weeks ago. But music is very important to me. My hearing is very important to me, as 2 people in my family have to wear hearing aids. They're not deaf or legally deaf, but they are hard of hearing. My dad suffers. My dad suffers. It's not genetic.
Okay.
It's
I was
not
about to
genetic.
ask.
My dad suffers from tinnitus because when he was working, help building houses and stuff like that.
That'll do it to you.
In his college
Construction.
years, he wasn't wearing hearing protection, so he's got issues with some of that stuff. My mom had a lot of like ear infections and stuff as a kid, and wasn't treated properly, so she's had to wear hearing aids my whole life. My dad only the past couple years. And I have things like perfect pitch. I can kind of transcribe notes that I hear, mainly in E flat because I played an alto saxophone, and I can hear stuff that my parents can't hear. Like I can hear the doorbell, or I can hear like a car engine outside from where I'm sitting with my headset on and speaking.
So,
I can hear that kind of stuff, and my parents can't. And I don't know what I would do without my hearing because it's that important to me.
so you take this as a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Alright.
know if I have what I think it's. I don't know if it's specifically perfect pitch, but the Game Grumps demonstrated this in a kind of a dumb way. But it was on their Mario Odyssey playthrough. Dan, who does music, obviously has said that he was talking to Aaron, saying that like, yeah, if someone makes it sound like or pitch, I can just replicate it. He's like, Aaron's like, yeah, what if I do huh? And Dan's huh? Dan replicates the sound perfectly. And Aaron's like, whoa, like that's the kind of thing I can do. I can like replicate sounds and like it's just from like hearing how a riff sounds on guitar, I can like structure it in my mind and then look at my guitar and see, okay, this might be how it's played, and I can just figure it out most times. And again, this is applicable to music, obviously, because it's about music, but applicable to something we talked about, which is AC/DC, where it was very uncertain if they would even come back for another album or whether Johnson would be able to, or Brian Johnson would be able to tour or record again, since he had a hearing scare recently. And but since then they've they had some device, and he worked with medical professionals to like make sure that he stayed safe while recording music, and they put out another awesome album. I've listened to it. I've had it on repeat for the past few days since it came out this past Friday. So yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting movie. I haven't seen much from either of these actors, but I might give this a watch because it's kind of giving me, like, as far as intense music vibes, it's a little bit almost like Whiplash intensity, which I thought was a great movie. I love J.K. Simmons. Not my J.K. not my Tempo Simmons. Goodbye, Governor.
What reminds me about this particular movie was that he, in this film, I don't know if this is fictional. I'm pretty sure it is a fictional piece, but I'll just say, this is a thing that did happen in real life, and I'll go ahead and talk about it. Beethoven, the professional composer, ended up going deaf, and yet he could still play music. So we'll see how this film particularly plays. I have a feeling it's going to interest Krüz more than it interests me, if only because, well, I mean, you're kind of, yeah.
Every time I hear the title, I think of Hammerfall. There's like, hear the sound of metal, the sweetest sound of all. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's really all I have to say about Sound of Metal. And there is no coming attractions this week, surprisingly, because most of the films that are supposed to come out for this week, their trailers are being released for the week later, so I don't even have to put them up. So it's just kind of weird how that's working out. But hey, yeah, no coming attractions by the end of this for this week. And do we have anything else that we want to talk about? I mean, video games are costing $70 now. You know, that's a thing.
That's AAA mainstream titles are going to cost $70 on the Series S, Series X.
Where are you getting
platforms.
this from, by the way? I'm not doubting you, but I'm like wondering.
A
like,
lot
where...
of industry sources. There's a lot of people coming out from the industry saying that video games are going to be costing $70 in the very, very near future. for
Damn.
mainstream AAA titles. You're still going to have your independent titles and like your more budget-oriented titles and re-releases that aren't going to cost $70, but it's mainly to recoup for development costs for developing on multiple platforms right now, especially, and developing for new hardware. It might stagnate back to $60, but
and thankfully other titles are less expensive. And then another thing is that sometimes, and if you're looking for this for new games, it's not going to happen, but games, as they're on the market longer, the prices tend to go down. Like, I still haven't really played much of it, bought Far Cry Primal for like $15 or something.
Yeah, like it really all it really all depends. Like I'm actually kind of surprised that it took them this long, because video games did cost $70 when the Super Nintendo was released. Yeah, imagine that, right?
Super Nintendo games were very expensive apparently to produce.
Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah, to produce. So I can only see
when you factor in things like Earthbound initially costing like $100 at launch.
Whoa.
Now it's like what, 300?
That's because it came with a game guide and everything, and there was a lot of packaging. And then games with the Super FX chip cost more because that was pretty innovative for the time. So
yeah, no news on Nintendo Switch. I don't imagine their games costing $70 right now, for now anyway, but we'll see what happens. Because the Switch, I'm just gonna say this right now, the Nintendo Switch is a great console. It's been selling like hotcakes pretty much all year, especially with this pandemic. And I don't see the Nintendo Switch pretty much going anywhere, even after the PS5 and the Xbox Series X is launched. So we'll see what happens, because Nintendo, how Nintendo is. They tend to do their own thing. So
well, Chibalco, I remember when I went to Vancouver a couple years ago and I walked into a London drugstore. It's called London Drug. And they had like an electronics section, things like that. And I walked in there. Actually, a couple things about that. Not only was like some guy, like the guy who was working in the electronics section, didn't know who Chugga Conroy was, put on Chugga Conroy's Pokemon Black and White Let's Play he's just like, he put in something to like a Google Chromecast, and that's what popped up, and he was like, hey, I recognize that. And I was looking through the new game section, and I was seeing new games for $80, not 70 but 80. But that's that's inflation. That's also taxes and import fees and stuff like that. So
yeah, so
and the Canadian
I don't know.
not being very good compared to the US.
Honestly, I don't know how much inflation. I just kind of find it weird that they're choosing now of all times to update the price, because we're in the most fiscally financial crises in our life right now. So it's one of those things where it's like, why are you charging this much when people don't even have that much to spend? So, and that's including tax on top of it. I didn't even get into the tax part. So you're basically paying like what, 77 for each title?
Sales tax depends on where you live.
On the state, but in California, the sales tax is about like 9.25%. That's relatively high.
That's lower than Washington State. We're going up to 10.1% sales tax next year.
Yeah. Let me see what Maryland's is. Maryland.
Sales tax.
What's the rate? 6%. Wow.
Well, that's pretty good.
9% for alcoholic beverages.
The liquor tax in Washington is so high.
Digital, anyone? Digital? Do we want to get this on digital so we commit, felony tax evasion? Anyway.
Commit insurance fraud like Markiplier.
Yeah, so but that is
for legal
purposes,
those are jokes.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah,
it was a joke between him and his lawyer and the other Ethan. The other guy, Ethan.
And yeah, speaking of which, Unis Honest, it finally ended.
Memento Mori.
Yes, it did. It was a fun ride.
For those unaware about what Unis Honest is, it was a project created by Markiplier, Mark Fishbach, and Crank Gameplay's Ethan Nestor, where the idea of Unis Honest was they were going to make a video. They were going to make videos and release one video a day, typically at noon Pacific time, but sometimes those are bumped to 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
I still look at, because I'm in the East Coast, I still look at the clock and like wait for 3 o'clock, and I'm like, wait, I'm not supposed to do that anymore.
And, they got 1 million subs within like a couple days of the announcement video. They amassed up to like 4.6 million, I want to say.
I think it spiked at the very end, but I don't remember the
12
total.
million.
What I do remember is that I think at least 1.4 million people were watching the final stream towards the end.
Yeah, 1.5 million. And that stream amassed over 12 million views, and they could have debated everybody and kept the channel up. But Mark, he sees things through to the end. And, you know, all the merch sales the merch store was up until the stream ended. And once that clock struck 0 on Friday night / Saturday morning,
They hit the button.
they hit the delete button. All 369 videos, I think, in total.
Nice.
4.6, like around 4.6 million subscribers, which I'm still subscribed to the channel. That's just a time capsule.
Yeah, it still shows up on the Switch. It doesn't show up anywhere else.
Yeah.
Not sure why.
I'm pretty sure one of these days, someone saved every single video and it's just not.
I don't know if
releasing it.
everyone. I've seen remnants on YouTube, but
I've
they've
seen
said
remnants.
they've said
I've
this
seen-
before. We talked about this before the stream. But they said that they said basically, if you value your channel's life, you will delete it. Otherwise, we will crush you.
Yes.
Because it's like, respect the wish. I mean, I'm all for that. I haven't saved anything other than pictures, mostly of Ethan shoving 7 hot dogs in his mouth because it's funny.
I'm going to do a quick
And-
I'm going to do a quick YouTube search and see if
Yeah, there's some stragglers.
like I'm talking about like the out of context videos.
Oh, the greatest one of those was well, it's not out of context, but it was Ethan like failing to think of the word skillet for at least 2 minutes. Mark keeps trying to give him hints. He's like skrittle, scratch, skittle, and Mark's like, "Oh my god, you're a fucking idiot!" And then he finally gets it. Very fun times.
Either way, that is it. That is our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Our show. Next week we are doing a double because it is American Thanksgiving in 2 weeks.
That is correct.
I remember
So
if you are doing a family,
Canadian Thanksgiving was a little while ago.
yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving was a couple weeks ago. But I do want to say, if you are going to have a family gathering, make sure that you keep yourself safe beforehand. Make sure the people that you're going to visit are staying safe, or if people are visiting you, implore them to stay safe and try and, obviously get out for some exercise and get some fresh air. But, like, if they're needing to go grocery shopping, please make sure that they're, social distancing and wearing a mask and taking all the precautions necessary. I shouldn't, I'm a rule follower, but honestly, people need to see their family and friends right now because this shit has been going on for 8 months.
I think that
but everybody needs to be safe to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and that's what I want to nail down first, is that everything...
Yeah, just verify that your family, if they've been symptom-free and not seen anyone that outside of their usual bubble, I think you can be safe with that. But if in doubt, if there's any doubt, try to get tested as soon as you can. We had not a scare, but it was possible my mom might have been exposed, so she quarantined herself to the basement. We locked her away in the dungeon. But
Jesus Christ.
yeah, she I know it looks a little dark now, but she tested negative. So we're all good. My family's fortunately been healthy. So grateful for that. And yeah, hopefully people can at least enjoy a good Thanksgiving meal. And while it might be a different way to spend holidays together, either if you're just doing a virtual video chat or just inviting a small group, like not too many people that are negative over, we've got to make the most of it while we can. It's still the holidays, of course.
Yeah, and as always, we do want to say that yes, we are going to be doing a double show. So that means next week we will be doing a double show on the 22nd, and we are going to be taking a break on the 29th to basically celebrate Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to be we're just not going to be able to do Thanksgiving because everyone's going to be spending time with their fans.
And there's presumably Thanksgiving football as well.
So, and another thing that I want to bring up, because I want people to understand exactly what I'm saying right here. Please give your folks a call. Please talk to anyone who is going to be in a very isolating time this year. Some people may not be able to, travel to vacation because they're dealing with, certain stipulations that prevent them from going out, either by being exposed, being testing positive, being high risk, any of those things. Please do yourself a favor. Think about those people, give them a call, do whatever you can to brighten up their day, because it's going to be a very lonely time for all of us. So
yeah, if you can't spend time with them, then call. That's I think we it wasn't for a holiday, but it was my dad and relatives had a huge Zoom call where everyone was just on the screen and everyone's just chatting. So yeah, do something like that if you can, because there's still they're still trying to eat, drink, and be merry and all that good stuff. But it's just going to have to be a little bit different. But do check in on people, because it matters more now than ever, because feelings of isolation do amplify things like depression and stuff like that. Even it's, to me, it's just kind of still seems surreal, but again, it's come to be in my subconscious now. Whenever I'm in a dream situation, I still have that idea of shit, I need a mask.
Yeah.
So it started to really settle in.
Either way, that has been our show for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As always, my name is Scarfy.
I'm Naka.
And I am Krüz.
And this has been Subwoofer Entertainment. We hope you have a blessed week, rest of your night. Please stay safe out there this week. Wear a mask if you decide to go outside. As always, please, for the love of God, please wear a mask. We can't ask you that enough. Stay awesome, stay awesome, stay safe out there. Have a good night, guys.
And if you need somebody to talk to, reach out. And if they're not available and you need somebody to just talk to for a couple minutes, my DMs are open, and yeah. I'm free to talk for a couple minutes, or it all depends on what I'm doing. If I'm in the middle of class, I will just say I'll get back to you later, and that's a promise. I'll talk to you, and if you need somebody to be there for you for a little bit, I'll do that.
Anyway, good night, guys.
Good night, guys. Remember, stay safe, and
my friends. We love you all.
We're in this together.
Yes.
Good night.